Hello, today we are going to have interactive lecture on the topic, the subject of theoretical phonetics, using PDF platform. Now look here and there is a link. Now you will join when I'll ask you to join PDF. Please prepare. I am Zarebadan bir kızı. If you are ready, draw or type two things you already know about today's topic. Thank you. What do you wonder about today's topic? Write your responses. You have a minute. Thank you. Now, today's lecture's objectives are to introduce the phonetics as a science, to develop students' integrated language and skills, and receptive and productive skills. By the end of the lecture, you will be able to define the concept of phonetics as a science. Problems to be discussed. Phonetics as a science. Second, connection of phonetics with linguistic and non-linguistic sciences. Third, aspects of speech sounds. Fourth, branches of phonetics. Methods of investigation used in different branches of phonetics. Sixth, practical and theoretical importance of phonetics. Now, keywords: phonetics, connection, linguistic and non-linguistic sciences, speech sounds, branches, aspects. Here's some new vocabulary: decipher, Hindi descripture, scientists, spatial, axis, a revolving drum wrapped, stylus, conveyed by hydraulics, levers too, a white trace into soot covered, plotted built, moleculus, in cells, chymograph, allophone, laryngoscope, tonograph, oscillograph, spectrograph, gramophone, Edison cylinder. Before starting the topic of the module, answer the brainstorm questions. What does phonetics study? What science is phonetics? What sciences is phonetics connected with? How many branches and aspects of phonetics do you know? Answer to the first question, please. What does phonetics study? Write your responses, please. You have 2 minutes. Great job. Answer to the second question, please. What science is phonetics? Write your responses, please. You have 2 minutes. Great job. Answer to the third question, please. What sciences is phonetics connected with? Write your responses, please. You have 2 minutes. Good job. Answer to the fourth question, please. How many branches and aspects of phonetics do you know? Write your responses, please. You have 2 minutes. Fantastic. Alfred Charles said, to speak any language, a person must know only 100% of its phonetics, while only 50 to 90% of its grammar and 1% of the vocabulary may be sufficient. He is an English phonetician. Do you agree with him? If yes or no, why? Write your responses. You are given 2 minutes. No, thank you very much. Summarize what you have just learned. You have a minute. Thank you. Do you feel comfortable sharing your thoughts out loud right now? Thank you. I really appreciate you. Now, dear friends, you must remember about the first problem, phonetics as a science. Let us consider phonetics as a science. The term phonetics is derived from the Greek language. Phone, sound, voice, and ta phonetica, the science of voice. Phonetics is the most fundamental and independent branch of linguistics. The object of phonetics is to study the oral aspect of language. Its field of study is speech, of course. No language description is complete without phonetics. As a linguistic science, phonetics has its subject matter. It studies the following phonetic units. First, segmental units. Consonant and vowel phonemes, their distribution and classification. Second one is suprasegmental units, such as accentual structure of the words, syllabic structure of the words. Remember, words, intonational structure of the sentence. The role of phonetics in foreign language teaching. Phonetics is primarily concerned with expression level. It is important in the study of language. Is it important for a language teacher to be a skillful phonetician? Some teachers meet this question with understanding. Others may protest and say that it is not important to be a good phonetician. The third may deny that it is really important. David Abercrombie, a British phonetician, said, "I would reply that all language teachers willy-nilly are phoneticians. It is not possible for practical purpose to teach foreign languages to any types of teachers for any purpose by any methods without giving some attention to pronunciation." Now let's look to a brief historical outline. We may consider that Mr. Panini is the first phonetician who made phonetic investigation in the 4th century BC. He described very old, even for him texts, which are called Vedas and Rig Vedas. They were written in a kind of language prior to Sanskrit, and he had to decipher them. Sanskrit is classic old Indian language, an ancient Indo-European language of India in which the Hindi scriptures and classical Indian epic poems are written, and from which many northern Indian languages are derived. It was used in the 10th century BC and was known to the ancient Greeks and to the ancient Hindus. A science of phonetics appeared in India more than 2,000 years ago. Only speech sounds were researched by the scientists of that time. Here you can see in the pictures apparatus, speech apparatus, camograph, intonograph, spectrograph, oscillograph, and in 1829, laryngoscope was invented. In 1840, Camograph was invented. In 1852, first observations of vocal cords were made. In 1877, gramophone was invented. In 1886, International Phonetic Association was founded. Edison cylinder phonograph was invented in 1899 by Edison. You can see in the picture his cylinders and phonographs. Now you have to write your responses. What sciences is phonetics connected with? What linguistic and non-linguistic sciences do you know? Now you have 2 minutes. Great work. Keep it up. Now, it is known that phonetics is connected with linguistic and non-linguistic sciences. Linguistic sciences such as grammar, stylistics, lexicology. Non-linguistic sciences such as biology, anatomy, logic, physiology, physics. Now please answer to the question and write your response. Why phonetics is connected with grammar, lexicology, and stylistics? You are given 5 minutes. Thank you. Well done. Phonetics is connected with grammar because it helps to pronounce correctly singular and plural forms of nouns, the past tense forms and past participles of English regular verbs. For example, sing, sings. Z is pronounced after voiced consonants. Ask, asked is pronounced after voiceless consonants. Phonetics is connected with lexicology. It is only due to presence of stress or accent in the right place that we distinguish certain nouns from verbs, as you can see them in the pictures. Now, as we have already told that phonetics is also connected with stylistics. Intonation and its components, repetition of words, phrases, sounds, alliteration. And you can read their examples. Now, how many aspects of speech sounds do you know? Thank you. A good job. All speech sounds have 4 aspects or mechanisms: articulatory, auditory, acoustic, and functional. Articulatory, it is the way when the sound producing mechanism is investigated, that is the way the speech sounds are pronounced. Auditory, sound perception aspect. The listener hears the sound, percepts its acoustic features, and the hearing mechanism selects from the acoustic information only what is linguistically important. Acoustic. Speech sound is physical phenomenon. It exists in the form of sound waves, which are pronounced by vibrations of the vocal cords. Thus, each sound is characterized by frequency, certain duration. All these items represent acoustic aspect. The last one is functional. Every language unit performs a certain function in actual speech. Functional aspect deals with these functions. Now, how many branches of English phonetics are there? What do you think? Please write your response. You have till 1 minute. Thank you. The branches of phonetics, we can say that there are 4 main branches. First, articulatory phonetics and techniques in articulatory phonetics. As you know, articulatory phonetics studies the way of the vocal organs are used to produce speech sounds. Acoustic phonetics is the study of the physical property of speech sounds and how they are transmitted. Auditory phonetics is the study of how humans perceive sounds. What is heard is analyzed physiologically to learn more of function of human ears, nerve, and brain. Phonology or functional or linguistic phonetics studies the linguistic function of consonant and vowel sounds, syllabic structure, word accent, and prosodic features such as pitch, stress, and tempo. Now, if we speak about the history, Baudouin de Courtenay introduced functional or social aspect of phonetic phenomena. Trubetskoy continued and declared phonology to be a linguistic science. Of course, there are other divisions of phonetics, such as general phonetics, special phonetics, experimental phonetics, descriptive phonetics, comparative phonetics, and interdisciplinary subject connected with phonetics, sociophonetics, phonostylistics. Now let's turn to methods of phonetic analysis. We'll single out subjective and objective methods of phonetic investigations. When are they used? Objective. We use special laboratory equipment such as spectrograph, intonograph. Subjective involves the use of various instrumental techniques such as palatography, photography, cinematography, laryngoscopy. The objective methods and subjective ones are complementary and not opposite to one another. Nowadays, we may use the up-to-date complex set to fix the articulatory parameters of speech, so-called oscillograph. The methods of investigation used in phonetics vary, but there are 3 principal methods. The direct observation method. This method consists of observing the movement and position of one's own or other people's organs of speech in pronouncing various speech sounds, as well as in analyzing one's own kinesthetic sensations during the articulation of speech sound in comparing them with auditory impressions. The linguistic method utilizes linguistic analysis in observing the actual facts of language and interpreting their social significance. The third one is experimental method, is based as a rule upon the use of special apparatus. Is there any theoretical and practical importance of phonetics? If yes, no, why? Write your responses. You are given 2 minutes. Thank you. Well done. The theoretical and practical importance of phonetics. Phonetics is a fundamental branch of linguistics, and no language description is complete without phonetics. It is the theoretical importance of phonetics. The practical aspect of phonetics is the basis of teaching to read and write. Foreign language teaching correct pronunciation and eloquence to actors, singers, radio and TV announcers, public figures, and so on and so forth. Eliminating dialectical figures from pronunciation of dialect speakers, logopedics, speech therapy, deaf and dumb pedagogy, sound technology. Now let's conclude our lecture. Summing up, we can say that phonetics is very important in learning and teaching process because without phonetics, no language description is complete. Thus, phonetics is divided into two major components. Segmental phonetics, which is concerned with individual sounds, segments of speech, their behavior, and suprasegmental phonetics, whose domain is larger units of connected speech, such as syllables, words, phrases, and texts. So it is primarily concerned with the expression level of the language. Phonetics also deals with the content level because only meaningful sound sequences are regarded as speech. Teachers should be willy-nilly phoneticians. Let us finish our model with a game with Kahoot program. These questions are written in the Kahoot program. Good luck. You are given 10 minutes. These are questions. Well, thank you very much. In 1 minute, write the most important things from today's lesson. Thank you. Great. Circle how you are feeling. Thank you. Reflect on today's activities. What did you like? What didn't you like? What was easy? What was hard? You are given 3 minutes. Thank you very much. How well did you like this lesson? Great. Did you find this lesson interesting and challenging? Good. Draw conclusions. What conclusions do you draw from the information? You have 3 minutes. Thank you very much. What was easy about the lesson? What was interesting and challenging about the lesson? What was too hard about the lesson? You are given 5 minutes. Thank you. Great. Give a thank you to someone in your class. For example, thank you to Joyce for asking me how I was doing. Perfect. Thank you. Well done. Homework. Watch the videos Phonetics and Basics of Transcription, Introduction to Phonetics. Study, analyze it, then create your own text and video about the topic. You should write your aim, plan, what are you going to show about, make up brainstorming questions, complete a small test about the topic using Kahoot. On the seminar, present your video. Discuss the topic with a teacher and a group and evaluate your job. Task: provide some evidence of substantiate the significance of phonetics as a linguistic science, its importance in foreign language learning process. Do it in writing. Goodbye. See you.